Alrighty. So first of all, I want to thank the Portland Timbers of not actually getting this game into a PK shootout because if you remember last year in the Leeds Cup tournament, whenever we had these late games, I was always hoping that yeah, please don't go to a PK shootout because if it goes to a PK shootout, the review is going to be delay. And well, it was not a problem on Friday because I don't have to work the very next day. It was definitely a problem today because I have to work the very next day and I want to get this review done and dusted before I go to bed. So yeah, again, thank you Portland for not actually getting into a PK show, even though for it looked like that was gonna be destined to go to a PK shootout. Now that being said, one game that did go to a PK shootout is the game between NYCFC versus Querétaro. Now, in the end, NYCFC did win this PK shootout, but I gotta say, I mean, if you're an NYCFC fan, maybe there's a bit of a concern coming out of this game because, yeah, here you are playing against Querétaro, probably the worst team in the tournament besides the San Jose Earthquakes. But if there's one thing we know about this tournament so far is that the underdogs they have pulled off some big upset. I mean, the Quakes were supposed to be one of the worst team in this tournament, and yet they upset Chivas in their game yesterday, winning in a PK shootout, and Querétaro almost did it again in this one against NYCFC. And that again for NYCFC, even though they won the PK shootout, there's a little bit concern the fact that they really played poorly in this game against Querétaro, almost kind of taking Querétaro a little bit too lightly. Now, in the first half, as I mentioned, I didn't really see the first 15 minutes of this game because I was still doing the review for yesterday's action. So we pick up in the 18th minute when Hack hits one right to Allison. By the way, this is not Allison from Liverpool. This is Allison that is the goalkeeper from Querétaro. Although judging by how he played tonight, he might as well be Allison from Liverpool because yeah, he was definitely locking it down and keeping Querétaro in terms of not conceding a goal all night long. And one of those was him absolutely robbing McFarland from close range there. Yeah, that is one that Christian McFarland would want to have back. I've been very bad when it comes to pronouncing names lately, but yeah, that is one that again McFarland would love to have back because that we should have been 1-0 in favor of NYCFC. But they definitely had a lot of possession early on. The question is, can they break this Querétaro low block? You knew Querétaro was just going to bunker throughout this whole game and maybe look on the transition, given how it is. And I thought that kind of played well because, and this is the thing that I don't get why many teams don't do this. Why not try to do a low block, knowing the fact that that's going to make it tough for NYCFC to try to break you down, especially on the narrow pitch as we see at Yankee Stadium. Though up to that point, the shots were 4-3 for NYCFC before Russo would hit it wide as the flag went up. Fernandez would then miss wide despite being wide open in the back post. Finishing was just not there for NYCFC in this game whatsoever. Allison then denied Bakra, but Morales had another chance of it, but he missed this one wide. There was actually a check to see whether or not if there was a potential penalty given to NYCFC after there looked like there was a handball by one of the Querétaro player. However, when they go to VAR, they also check to see whether or not if Bakra was in an offside position before the potential handball that could be called? And the answer is yes. So that was kind of a weird situation where, they were checking on one thing and then they check another thing. And this was kind of before when there was a potential handball. I didn't really get a good look to see whether or not indeed if that was a handball on one of the Querétaro player because they showed the offside for majority of it, and it's kind of funny how on the VAR screen it says checking for a handball when really they're just kind of checking for offside. But yeah, Bakra was in an offside position, so yeah, obviously no penalty because whatever happened after that play is null and void. But that doesn't mean the fans were very happy about that because in fact the referee was told he sucked, and they did it in Spanish. And I'll just say that if you want to know what's the ref you suck at it in Spanish? Well, it starts with that word G, and I'll leave it at that. So we head to halftime, scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Rodriguez would hit it right to Baratza, and this is not Santi Rodriguez for NYCFC. I should have put a first initial name because there was two Rodriguez in this game. But NYCFC continue to have lots of possession, but again, they just can't seem to get any chances against a rigid Querétaro defense. Magno would then hits one right to Allison before Cisneros hits it right to Barraza. There, by the way, there was a couple former MLS player for this Querétaro side. You know, Ake Loba now plays for Querétaro. Ronaldo Cesaro once played for Atlanta United, played for Querétaro now, and spoiler alert, he would be a big part in terms of what happened in the PK shootout, or at least, unfortunately, on the wrong end of a key moment in the PK shootout. But there was no doubt that I also thought NYCFC got to be careful on the transition, and when you push men so high up as NYCFC started to do, knowing that Querétaro is just kind of sitting deep, you got to be careful not to get counter on the other end. And there was a couple of times that Querétaro had some chances on the transition. Illich would then hits it high from close before Allison denied Martinez from long range. Risa then puts it wide from close range, and it just kind of feels like it's not going to be NYCFC night in terms of finishing, and it feels like this is going to be destined to go to a PK shootout. Though Alonso Martinez try to make sure that doesn't happen, but he fires it just wide from long range, and then he was denied by Allison as the flag went up in the 88th minute. And then on the other end, Barraza, who hasn't had a lot to do in this game, he had to deny Cisneros from close range, and that was a big save from Luis Barraza because again, you know, he hasn't had much to do in this one, and Ronaldo Cisneros almost stole one for Querétaro late in this one, and I even wrote they looked like they were trying to steal one late, despite the fact that they didn't generate a lot of chances. But in the end, we do go to a PK shootout as the game ended scoreless. And in the PK shootout, after for the first six penalty that was converted, we did see the first PK miss by Querétaro, and then there was another PK miss, and this was the decisive one as Barraza denies the former Lanterman Cisneros in round number 5 to win the PK shootout. And yeah, in the end, NYCFC gets the extra point with a 4-3 PK shootout win. The shots in this one, 18 shots with 11 that Querétaro has, 5 shots on goal with a 6 that NYCFC had, 3 shots off target with a 5 that NYCFC had, 3 shots on block with a 5 that NYCFC had, and possession wise, 66% possession compared to 34% possession that Querétaro got in this game. So again, for NYCFC, it's good that at least they win this game. But again, the fact that they had to go to PK shootout against the worst Liga MX team, there is definitely some concern. But again, you know, in tournament play, you're gonna have these kind of game where you're not at your best. But if you are able to get a win and if you're able to move on, no one will remember how bad they play in this game against Querétaro. That is NYCFC. Well, moving on in terms of the next match is Sporting KC versus the Chicago Fire. So this game kind of reminds me a little bit of the Quakes versus SKC, or even the game between the Quakes versus Minnesota, where it's kind of almost like a dumpster fire derby in the Leeds Cup, with both of these teams not doing very well in terms of league play. But also, you can also say that this is maybe the optimistic derby or the opportunity derby for both of these teams. Because how many times I've said when you're not doing well in leagues, this is a redemption and an opportunity to salvage your season. But that also means that his narrative is going to come back to haunt both of these teams. Well, not really. I mean, in the end. And Sporting KC actually come from behind, and for one of the rare time this season at home, they hold on to a lead. Now, in the first half, 6 minutes in, first shot of the game did see Richie push Tommy free kick over before Agata hits it or hits it over from close range. Sporting was definitely on the front foot as they were looking for the lead. The first shot for the Fire did see Kutsias puts it wide from long range. I thought Kutsias had a good game in this one, and he actually ends up on the score sheet as well. Afrifa would then had a shot that was deflected and goes wide before Agata had would bang one onto the post there in the 19th minute. William Agata has definitely woke up in these last couple of games. It's starting to look like his old self in terms of goal scoring, but yeah, here he was a little unlucky of smashing one onto the post. But there was no doubt Sporting was knocking on the door. They were all over the Fire early on and were looking for the opener. But how many times when we said when you don't take your chances, yeah, the opposition will always have a moment to score against the run of play. And guess what happened? In the 22nd minute, Kutsias would score his first goal of the season for the Fire from Gutierrez to give the Fire a 1-0 lead. It was completely against the run of play, and it was only the second shot for the Chicago Fire, and really maybe the first big look there for the Fire up to this point. There was then a shout for a penalty for SKC not given not long after before Agata would hit one right to Richie. But then the 39th minute, Sporting KC finally equalized, and it's come from an unlikely source as Robert Castellano score a rare goal here from Voltaire to tie the game up at one apiece, and that would be the scoreline as we head into the second half. In the second half, Agata and Rodoja kind of had a bit of a miscommunication here, where they kind of got in each other way and tried to take the shot. And to be fair, even though they got into each other way, the shot still had to be saved by Richie. It still had some pace to it. And by the way, this won't be the only time we'll talk about how some miscommunication between two attacker and that that it didn't really resort into a goal as a resort. But in the 52nd minute, Voltaire would puts one into the stands. SKC was on the front foot again. They were looking to take the lead. Agata would then hits one right to Richie before Kutsias looked to try to get his second goal of the game, but he missed high there. I mean, it was pretty clear that Kutsias was really the only offense for Chicago in this one, and that one thing I also are seeing in this tournament is that there's a lot of teams that decided to put some of their backup brigade for a run. I mean, if Kaipos were in this game, maybe Chicago might had more of a threat, but Kutsias was also pretty good in this game, and he played relatively well in that similar role that Kuipers operate. Though in the 60th minute, Richie would deny Showery from close range before Tommy puts it onto the roof of the net. The shots was 14-6 for Sporting KC up to this point. Sporting KC were dominating in this one, but the problem is their finishing hasn't been very good because in the 75th minute, the post would deny Afrifa as he was in on goal there. Afrifa was another guy that had a really good game, and just before I thought it feels like it's just one of those days for Sporting KC where things are just not going their way. In the 76th minute, they took the lead. It's William Agata, and rightly deserved a goal. He's been working very hard in this game. Same goes for FIFA. He got the assist here to give the lead for Sporting KC, and again, that's been coming with the way that all the pressure that Sporting was pounding. It was a matter of time before they get the lead. Though Haile Selassie did look to answer, but he was denied by Melia before Jimenez puts it right to Melia. And this is when, not only the fire was started to press for the equalizer, but you can definitely sense a nervy energy inside Children Mercy Park. And I don't blame the fact that Sporting KC feel like, oh boy, here we go again. We have seen this story so many times of them giving up leads late in the game, and is this just going to be one of those days, right? Well, Sherry did look to try to end it, but he missed that one wide before the last chance for the fire came from the youngster Kofi. Puts it high from long range in the third minute of stoppage time. But yeah, in the end, on a rare occasion, Sporting KC hold on to a lead. It must be those Kansas City Wizards jersey that they wear that is the reason why they hold on to a lead. Because I guess if you're wearing the Wiz color, I mean I know Sporting KC and the Wiz are pretty much the same team, but let's just pretend it's not the same team, and maybe putting the Wiz jersey kind of now make sure that they don't act like SKC of always blowing late leads and whatsoever. But either way, shots in this one, 17 shots for the 9 that the Fire has, 5 shots on goal for the 6 that Sporting KC had, 4 shots off target for the 3 that the Fire has, 1 shot that was blocked compared to the 5 that Sporting KC had, and possessed by 58% possession compared to the 42% possession the Chicago Fire has. And again, for Sporting KC, they did something that they didn't do last year, which is getting a win in the group stage, and now they're sitting in a pretty good spot. Although both of these teams still have to face against. I think they face Toluca as the Liga MX's opponent, and that's bad news for the Chicago Fire because Toluca is one of the better team in Liga MX. And one thing I also want to say is, yes, I know MLS team has had a big dominance over Liga MX team. Pretty much 7 out of the 8 times when an MLS versus Liga MX kind of matchup happened in this Leagues Cup so far, the MLS team went on to win. But again, we still haven't seen the best the Liga MX team. We still haven't seen the two Monterrey team in Rayados and Tigres. They are definitely going to be very tough to beat. We haven't seen Toluca, which is also a pretty good team. And we didn't even see the team that won the CONCACAF Champions Cup this year in Pachuca. So when those teams does play, and if MLS teams still get the better out of it, then yeah, you can maybe say that the dominance of MLS team in the Leeds Cup is back, and then Liga MX fans will just make the excuse of, well, it's a meaningless competition, and also all the games are played in the US, whereas MLS fans will argue that, well, it's not really so meaningless when you keep talking about it over social media. And also, oh, don't you get hubs this year? And also, in some of these games between MLS versus Liga MX team basically makes it a home game. I mean, just look at the game between the Quakes and Chivas. That was a home game for Chivas, and less of a home game for the Quakes, and the Quakes still were able to win in a PK shootout as a result of it. But that being said, moving on into the last game of tonight. Yes, there's actually only 3 games tonight, so that I actually get a chance to review all of them. And that, of course, is the Portland Timbers versus Leon. So again, I would like to thank the Portland Timbers for not getting this game into well, almost at extra time, but it was gonna go to a PK shootout. And knowing the Leeds Cup, and knowing I still have memories of that game between Vancouver and Leon, and how that one went like 18 or 19 round, I would definitely not want to see this game to go to a PK shootout, and might go a long way as what we've seen in some of these Leeds Cup PK shootout. But thankfully, it didn't happen because the Timbers, they come from behind, and they did it in probably the most un-Timbers like way this season. Now, in the first half, the first shot of the game did see Rodriguez miss wide from close range before Cadiz with Leon's first shot, but he missed wide off of the deflection. Leon is another team that has a couple of former MLS player. Obviously, Cadiz, he used to play for Nashville SC, and they also have Jordi Alciva, who, if you're a Charlotte fan, you would know his name, as he was on that team and was on that expansion team when Charlotte came into the league. Speaking of Cadiz, he would be on the assist chart here in the 13th minute, as Medina would score the opening goal for Leon from Cadiz to give Leon a 1-0 lead. It was a great goal there from Leon, but again, just bad defending there from the Portland Timbers. And really, I feel like for the first 60 minutes of this game, the Timbers were all over the place at the back. And I think this game just kind of also shows you why they have given them a lot of goals this season. While their attack has been sublime this season, the defense has been just all over the place. And again, I'm really surprised that this summer they have not really prioritized that as a main priority. Because I feel like if this is a Timbers team that is serious of making a run, they got to fix that defense. That defense is going to hold them back. This if they are going to make a serious run in terms of MLS Cup. But in the 21st minute, Medina looked for his second, but he puts it wide there. Again, the Timbers just having turnover problems early in the midfield. What's also kind of interesting is that both of these teams seems like they want to play the same style of going quickly on the transition. So when you see that kind of style, not only it's very entertaining to watch when you see two transition team and two counterattack team facing against each other, but also when you try to go quickly on the attack, sometimes you're more prone to trying to turn the ball over in your own end because you don't set things up to go on the counter. And the Timbers were that team. They were not doing very well when it comes to setting things up and just kind of turning the ball over way too much early in the midfield. Barrio then had a free header there, but missed wide in the 36th minute before Evander would skies this one, and he probably shouldn't have skied this one, or even taken this one, because this ball was actually meant to play it right to Capacito Rodriguez, but Evander, of course, trying to get it before Rodriguez gets it. And again, if you score, nobody really care. Well, maybe some will. Maybe Capacito Rodriguez will be a little hard done the fact that Evander kind of stole his goal. But if you don't score it, oh yeah, I guarantee that. Well, at the end of the day, the Timbers did win. But if they didn't win, I'm pretty sure Capacito Rodriguez is gonna have a word with Evander. Why in the world did he decide to take that chance? Because that was a chance where it should have been given to Rodriguez. He pretty much had a point blank effort that he would have buried a 10 out of 10 time. And Evander, I know he's known for those spectacular goals as well, but that is one that he should have just let go and let Rodriguez uh puts it in. And I also thought, will that moment come back to haunt the Timbers? Because that was a great A chance there for the Timbers. And the good news for them, it didn't come back to haunt them, because in the 41st minute, Zach McGraw, he has not scored a goal for the Timbers for a long time, but he scored here from Evander to make it get 1-1 in this game, and it came off of a corner. This is something that's been a problem for the Timbers throughout this season, both on the offensive side on the corner and on the defensive side. They can't defend corner, and also they can't score corners. But here they score one, and that ties the game up at one apiece as we head to halftime with the same scoreline as well. In the second half, Crepeau would deny Arviado from close range before he denied Alcivar after just another bad giveaway from the Timbers. Like the Timbers, they gotta stop turning the ball over. That's why I was kind of saying. I'm pretty sure Timbers fan were even saying that too because they were looking all over the place early as Leon was pressing hard early to get the lead back. Though on the other end, Blanco would deny Rodriguez on a 1v1 opportunity, but Mora had a chance on the rebound, and he had an empty net to shoot here, but his shot is blocked there, and yeah, that is one that Felipe Mora would want to have back. I mean, an empty net to shoot there, that probably shouldn't have been blocked. But I also thought that this game felt like it's on a knife edge because, there's been some chances for both of these teams. It's been a very open game. Aviardo then was in on goal there, and he was trying to chip it over Quapo, but he missed it onto the roof of the net. And then Rodriguez would puts one into the stands in the 76th minute. And really, as the time winds down, this is when I thought the Timbers started to push hard to try to get the winning goal and not go to PK. And part of that is because for once Phil Neville had make the right sub in this one. He brought in some fresh legs, and especially fresh attacking leg in this one in Mason Toy and Santi Marino, and it really made an effect because Leon looked like they were getting tired late in this one. Evander would then hits it onto the roof of the net on the PK. The name Redacted Chen then started to ring out on a Leon goal kick, and I was very shocked. But when I saw that, because yeah, usually the name Redacted Chen is ring out by Mexican fans, especially when they're frustrated at a MLS goalkeeper decided to take his time to boot it away, or if their team is losing, they decided to ring out the name, redact the chance to express their frustration. I did not expect that it would be ring out when the a Mexican team is about to take the goal kick. Like that was really strange to see, and that I mean that that's something that I'm pretty sure the Portland Timbers as a team they'll definitely look into it, and they'll probably remind their fans that yeah, you do not want to say that name redacted champ. But then again, the fan base will say yeah, well look how you handle the scandal that happened a couple of years ago. But that being said, in the 90th minute, guess what? It happened again. Zach McGraw, he scored from Evander to make it 2-1 in favor of the Portland Timbers. Pretty much a deja vu from the equalizer. It was the same situation where Evander delivered a great ball there from a corner, which is something that we have not seen throughout this season. I mean, as good as Evander has been in terms of scoring from the free kick, he has not done well whatsoever when it comes to delivering ball into the box. But here he delivered a beautiful one. McGraw was the first one to rise up there to hit that one in. And yeah, just like that, it was 2-1 in favor of the Timbers. The team that pretty much have struggled this season from corners scored two in the same game. I mean, it doesn't get more Leeds Cup and doesn't get more Leeds Cup after dark than that. But yeah, in the end, that also is the winning goal for the Timbers as they win 2-1 against Leon. The shots in this one, 13 shots for both of these teams, 4 shots on goal for the 3 that Leon had, 6 shots off target for the 4 that the Timbers had, 5 shots on block compared to the 4 that Leon has, and possession-wise, 51% possession compared to the 49% possession the Timbers has in this game. So yeah, very entertaining game for both of these teams, but in the end, the Timbers, how many times we talk about set pieces could be a difference between in a tightly contested game. The Timbers, for one of the rare time, got that set piece advantage, and that was the reason of them beating a Leon side that I know this Leon side is not as good as what we've seen in the past, especially the that same team that beat LAFC to win the CONCACAF Champions League. But still, the Timbers. This is a team that has had its struggles against Liga MX's team. They must feel very happy the fact that they're able to get a win. And again, Moa's team continue their dominance over Liga MX's team. We'll see what happens when we do get to some of those much more known Liga MX team, those tougher teams like Tigres, Rayados, Toluca, and even Pachuca. There, we'll see whether or not if they can be up to the task, and even Cruz Azul too, because I think I heard Cruz Azul is actually doing pretty good this season in Liga MX as well. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you like, smash the subscribe button. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of these free games from tonight's Leeds Cup action. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you like, smash the subscribe button. And yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.